Hello, today is day 110, April the 20th. This is my favorite time of year. Easter has the best jelly beans. Right now I've got this bag of Jolly Rancher jelly beans. I've got all these different flavors, weird ones, nerds, stuff like that. Love Easter jelly beans. I buy them in bulk, especially after Easter, and just eat them for... I wish I could say for the rest of the year, but they don't last that long. At any rate, day 110, April 20th, Joshua chapter 21, verse 1 through chapter 22, verse 20. Luke chapter 20, verse 1 through 26. Psalms chapter 89, verse 1 through 13. Proverbs chapter 13, verse 15 through 16. And today I want to look at Joshua. We're getting really close to the tail end of Joshua here. And Joshua 22, verse 10 through 16 brings up, and I'm not going to read this section. It's a pretty long section here. But in this section, it's talking about this altar of witness. You see, in the land of Israel, the promised lands that they have moved into, it's divided geographically with a river. A river runs through it. You older guys get the movie. Anyways, a river runs through it, and everybody on one side is kind of separate from everybody on the other side. That river's the Jordan River. Now, the deal is that on one side of the river, you've got where the temple is going to end up eventually getting built. And that's where God's presence is. That's where Jerusalem is. And so you have that going up on one side of the river. Well, then you've got the other side of the river that seems a little bit more isolated from everybody else. And so these guys that were isolated, it's talking about them, and I'm going to hit this. In verse 10 it says, "And when they came to the region of Jordan that is in the land of Canaan, the people of Reuben and the people of Gad and the half-tribe of Manasseh built there an altar by the Jordan, an altar of imposing size." So they built an altar, and they built it huge. It wasn't just this small pile of rocks. They built this to where anybody and everybody could see it. And the tribes on the other side of the river got very concerned. They're like, what are you guys doing? Are you guys separating from us? God said that He would bless us. We got to be together under God. And so they send these folks over to Gad and over to Manasseh and over to Reuben, and they began asking, what's the deal with this altar? Are you trying to separate from us? Is there fixing to be a civil war? And what ends up happening is the people of Reuben, people of Gad, people of Manasseh said, no, that's not at all what we're doing. You see, with it looking like we are isolated, we wanted to be sure all other nations knew that we were united under God. It's not that we're on this side of the water and kind of doing our own thing. It's we're on this side of the water, and God is a big deal in our lives. And so the other tribes go back and they're like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. And it's just a really neat story about this idea of having something so that the nations around can see what it is that God's doing. And this altar that they got, if you look down verse, we'll do verse 33 through 34 here. It says, "And the report was good in the eyes of the people of Israel, and the people of Israel blessed God and spoke no more of making war against them to destroy the land where the people of Reuben and the people of Gad settled. The people of Reuben and the people of Gad called the altar Witness. For they said, it is a witness between us that the Lord is God." An altar of witness. You see, it's important for us to have things in our life to where those around us notice it. And they begin to see that God's on our side and we're on God's side, and we are just united with Him, and see that we take Him seriously. It's also important for us to have that in our lives, because so easily we get caught up in the struggles, the tough things that come against us, the busyness, the anxiety, just so many things. It's good for us to have a really big reminder that, we need to give glory to God. We need to turn back to Him. We need to focus on Him. And so I want to ask this question of you today. What do you have in your life right now that is showing the world that you serve the Lord? What do you have in your life right now that is showing the world that you serve the Lord and that He is God in your life? Now, when I say the world, I don't mean people in China are like, oh, yes, I know this person they dispatch at Emerald, or I know this person they're in frontline medical, and that's not quite what I mean. What I mean is the world around you, your next door neighbors, your coworkers, your friends, your family, the people that are physically around you. What do you have in your life that is undeniable that you serve and you sacrifice anything and everything in your life to serve Jesus Christ? If you don't have something, be sure to get something. And it doesn't have to be physical. But find something, some way. Maybe it's your demeanor. Maybe it's the way you pray for people or the way you talk to people. But whatever it is, be sure there's something. That way those around you know the Lord is God. Take care of yourselves out there.